Oh, somebody call 911. My Airwolf is dead. Look. I hit the button. Nothing. Okay, so we got fresh baterias in the Aoshima Airwolf 1/48 scale. When we hit that button, this guy's supposed to spin, and this guy's supposed to spin, and none of that spinning is happening. And I have heard on the Facevine book place page, MySpace? No, not MySpace. No, Facebook, that this is a common failure of these Aoshima Airwolves. It is diecast. It is beautiful. It's lovely. I have the weathered matte version, which is kind of what I preferred. You know, I like everything a little weathered. Either way, we're going to tear into this. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Yeah. Really rare, highly sought after collectible, motorized, that's not motorized anymore. And we're going to tear into this and figure out what's wrong. Well, let's start right now. Here we go. So we've got our little precision kit. The only thing we really need out of it is a little plastic pliers. Pliers. He's got pliers, sir. We shouldn't let him out on bail. Here we go. We got that. And, yeah, we've got a... this is kind of an iPhone repair kit sort of thing. We've got... oh, come on. We've got some weird plastic guitar pick looking thingies. And we're going to use those and our precision screwdrivers and other things to take this sucker apart. First, we're going to take out the main propeller. We're going to take out the tail prop, because they just pop right off. We're going to take off the weapons from their stowage, or from their little spots. Okay. We're going to take off the battery compartment cover. We've got our Kirkland batteries in here. Kirkland batteries are awesome. They're like basically, you know, door seller Energizer quality for Costco prices. Okay. Now, there's a few ways to take this apart. We pop off this little part right here, and that reveals a Phillips head screwdriver. Then these engine cowlings, they... uh-oh, shit. I heard some plastic go flying. Oh, is the red light. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we couldn't find it. For now, it's down there. It's on the floor. It's on the cabinet. These little cowlings, you pull them kind of straight up. They come off. Okay, how do we take this apart? Let's see what we got here. Oh. Seems like... oh. Let's try that. Ah! The nose slides off. Okay. Alright. We've got that. Take our little Viha PH1. Nice tight fit in that screw. Phillips head 1. Precision. I'm going to tap her out of there. And let's get in here. Get this fella out. Yeah, we're in sort of uncharted territory here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's tear her apart. If it's mechanical and they could build it overseas, we should be able to take it apart and diagnose it, put it back together. Okay. So we've got 4 screws out of it. There we go. We got our 4 screws. Got some wiggle action going. There we go. Ooh, okay. She is coming apart. It's not... I don't know if that was the best idea in the world, but we just pulled that out of there. So we're going to lay that down. And then we have our mechanical assembly. Let's, oh! Okay. Well, there we go. She just kind of falls apart completely. Okay, so let's lay that down. Our cockpit screen. Got our cockpit with pilot and co-pilot. Well, Mr. Santini, where do you sit? Well, let's take a look. Let's put our batteries back in for now. Let's see what we got. Nothing. So, what exactly is the problem? Not quite sure. Well, I don't know if it's electrical or mechanical. Oh, this red lead. That feels very flimsy. So this red lead goes to this black lead. So if we touch... Okay, we're making contact with the battery. We're touching... Yeah, the red lead here goes to this side of the battery, which is the positive part of the circuit. We have it in. Let's play with the batteries. We didn't store this with batteries in it. Oh! Huh! Okay, we turned it off, turned it back on, and then we give it a jump start, and she goes. We give it a jump start and it goes. Okay, now we stopped and we restarted and no go. Off, on, let's bump it. Okay, so the fact that we bumped it and it started going. And it stopped again. Bump. And it goes. Okay, this has me sort of leaning to the fact we might have a bad battery. Let's look at this for reference so I know where everything goes. The crown gear goes pointing up, that little thing, then the straight gear on the side, and then the spiral gear on the motor. So what we're going to do is we're going to... Oh boy. Let's pull this little fella off that top shaft, and we'll take this guy apart. Let's see what we got. It might be the motor. It may be the motor's cogging. There's a bad brush. You know, they just used a shit motor in here or something. And we all spent a lot of money on these AIRWOLFs. You're all with me on that. These were not cheap. And if you want one now, they're even more not cheap. They're very much more not cheap now than they were, like 10 years ago when we all got these things. Well, the ones of us that were obsessed with AIRWOLF 10 years ago when this thing came out, ish. Yeah, it's kind of probably more than 10 years. Let's pull this top off. Okay, there's a top plate coming off. Whoa! What the hell is this thing? Okay, this is like not what I expected electric motor-wise. Whoo, Nelly. That is weird. That is a very weird... Keep turning that on and off. Well, that is not at all. Let's spin this. This gear is a little crunchy. I mean, it's not positively... You know what? Let's take a very close look at these gears. There appears to be a kink in the prop shaft gear, which is interesting. Let's pull this out. The prop shaft gear may be the problem here, because if we just keep... Oh. Wait a second. Ah! Damn motor lead fell off. Okay, let's... The wire broke off the solder joint. Well, that's weird. Maybe the motor is bad. It seemed to work fine for a minute there. And then this wire stripped off. Dear. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, if we touch the wire to the lead, we'll fix that solder joint. That's an easy thing. Because I was planning on possibly replacing this electric motor. And now that I'm looking at it, this electric motor is very unique, very weird, very rectangular. And what I bought to replace it was this little Tamiya motor. This little Tamiya motor is definitely way thicker. Not quite as wide, but otherwise similar dimensions on depth. We could potentially make this work if we had to, but as we show, if we give this thing 3 volts, this motor is a runner. I mean, yeah, I mean, the wire's broken off. It's trying to make contact. So the motor seems fine. Okay. So if we... Okay, so the motor is not the problem. It's potentially something to do with the gear mesh. So what we're going to need to do is blast all the grease off of these guys and see what's going on. Something's going on. I'm going to put on some magnified head bit and see if I can find a problem. Look at this carnage. Will we ever get her back together? I don't know. And I got to go hunting for that little red top marker light. If not, I do have a fair amount of red stuff. I could always fashion a new one, but I don't want to. I'd rather find the red bit. But damn. Okay, something with the gear train that's a little more problematic than we were hoping for. We'll be back. Okay, well, we found our problem. It's the tail rotor gear that runs off the main central shaft. I don't know if you can see that. Do you see that little gap? Let's do it this way. This nylon gear cracked open. Okay, it cracked open, and it's on this little knurled thing here, and it cracked open because the knurled gear is bigger than the center bore of this gear, and over time, just sitting there, it just stress fractured and split open. And the gap in the gear teeth changes the gear pitch and locks up the entire drivetrain. To remedy this problem, I can't pinch this shut over this knurling. It's bigger than the shaft of the gear. So, to resolve this issue with basically the gear tooth pitch being off, we are going to need... See, you can see the crack when I mount it. You can see the crack very clearly. And if we go past it, it spins very freely. and you almost don't even see the brake until we put it back over the knurling, and then there, the brake shows up very clearly. There's a gap. So those two teeth are spread apart further than any of the other teeth. This is a very small device with a very low torque motor. So when it hits that gap, if it's on the opposite side of that gap and you start the motor up, it can possibly click past that gap, but you're gonna hear a clicking noise. You're gonna hear like a valve tapping noise, like a motor that's worn out. So the motor's fine. The solder joints on the power switch are shit to begin with. This main gear rotor, this is fine. This is our culprit. That's it. That's where we're at. I'm not even on the right end. It's on this end. But either way, it's the same thing. Is once you're on that knurling, it cracks open. Now, the knurling on this end that goes into the tail shaft. Oh, God. The knurling on this end that goes in the tail shaft. I don't know what kind of damage. There could be possibly a similar issue in the tail shaft. But in the tail shaft assembly area, I don't see a good way. I don't see a good way of accessing that. Including that our bottom red light from our tail shaft just fell out. That goes right in there. Yeah, our tail shaft assembly, I don't see a way to open that up easily. I don't know if this tail comes off to get in there. I'm gonna just do my best to just well, let's just test this out real quick. Let's see what happens if we slide her in there. Let's see what we get. Put our tail shaft back on. What? Did that whole gear? Oh, I might have taken this apart entirely the wrong way. Or did it come through? Where does this? No, it's got to go through here. Oh, yeah. We may need to pry open this tail boom. I probably shouldn't have pulled that out that way. Now we're going to start breaking plastic soon. I might have to... yeah, this is going to be a delicate procedure. Might need to get in here. This may need some fedaddling. We will fix the lady, but the lady's putting up quite a fight. Actually, we may be able to get this thing out of here. Okay, sorry, battery died. This slides out. Okay, so that slid out, and oh, we're gonna need a smaller Phillips, slightly smaller. What do we got? What do we got, fellas? Oh, that's a nut driver. There we go. Got a little smaller Phillips, PH0. Okay. Oh, this whole thing comes apart. Okay, this is great. This is good news. We got another screw there. And, boom. Okay. Okay. So we can definitely, yeah, this is serviceable. This bevel gear is not, God. You know, the people in China that assemble this thing, your jobs, I don't envy them. This bevel gear is fine. So we can figure that out. Let's get all the tissue and wipe our hands off. We got all the schmoo on us. So really our primary culprit here is this split open gear. This is a nylon gear. So I think my course of action for said nylon gear is going to be grind down these knurls a little bit to get them almost to the same diameter as the main shaft, because over the main shaft, so once you get past the knurls on the main shaft, it spins easily, and we can pinch that gap shut when it's on the main shaft. So if we can get this nylon gear cleaned up properly, we'll soak it in some isopropyl alcohol or some degreaser, soap, put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, whatever. I have to research how to repair a nylon gear, or I have to rummage and find a similar size and shape and pitch nylon gear somewhere. I may be able to find this. It's got to exist somewhere. Like, I thought this motor existed somewhere, but I've never seen anything like this. Luckily, the motor's good. This is probably a problem, guys. Everybody with an AIRWOLF from Aoshima motorized that has died. The motor didn't die, most likely. Maybe a solder joint broke on something inside, but most likely this gear split open and caused an F-up. You could see that very clearly. That gap, that change in the tooth pitch. That's locking up your gear train. This is your problem. Oh my God, I'm your hero, right? Am I? But does anyone want to do this to their AIRWOLF? Who knows? Just this crazy son of a bitch. Listen, I could just buy a brand new one on eBay, but if it's been sitting in its box for 10 years, this gear may already be split open just from the pressure on it. I've had, to me, tank kits where I had too much track tension on the plastic tracks, and the plastic just kind of exploded sitting on the shelf, and the tracks are laying on the shelf flat, broken. I come back, I was shocked. But these are the things we have to deal with. So, yeah, that's most likely your problem, is that little split in the gear on the tail boom when it meets this main gear shaft assembly to rotate. It spins and it spins and it spins, and then it hits this chunk where it's open and it locks up. That's it. It's locking up. This thing doesn't have enough torque to overpower that change in the gear pitch. There's not enough slack anywhere in the gear. So either way, would there have been a better way to do this? Possibly. It's Aoshima. They're pretty damn good, but I don't know. To me and Bandai probably would have done a better job at this slightly, I would assume. This is going to be kind of a long repair. I'm going to have to get like a cookie sheet to put all this crap on, because I've got other shit to do down here besides just this. I thought this would be a very easy fix. It is not. I don't need a new motor. I ordered this other ultra tiny motor. Don't need that either. I'll keep those for fun projects, but that gear, I got to figure that out. So I got to research, nylon gears. I got to see what I got floating around in the bits and pieces. I got to see if I can order a gear or order anything that has a gear. You might be able to get like a little, like a Kyosho Mini Z race car, some micro tiny RC car. There was these little itty bitty tiny pocket race cars back in the day. Bitchar G. Like anything. Like something has got to have a little gear somewhere that's about the same size as this. If I can't find that, I'll figure out how to repair this nylon gear. I'll figure out the correct glue. Maybe it's from our glue shootout video. I don't think Santa Acrylic's the best bet here, because that's just not... We want to weld this nylon back together. We want to weld it back together. I don't care if I glue my fingers together. We want to close that gap and seal it. So we'll figure something out. But we'll be back with a part 2 on repairing this thing, because I think I'm done for the night. I gotta do some research and due diligence here. Either way, the lady will fly again sooner or later. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Honestly, I'm gonna have to look at the video just to remember how to put this damn thing back together. Is this just exploded into pieces here? But we have it apart. We know the problem. Everyone knows the problem. I'll come up with a fix. Maybe I'll be the seller of replacement gear for this friggin' thing. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. I just want my AIRWOLF working again. And also, we lost that top red signal light from the chassis, from the main fuselage. Wrong vehicle. I'm used to tanks. The main fuselage, that upper red plastic bit. It's somewhere in the basement. It could not have teleported through the cinder block walls, so it's down here somewhere. I just have to find it. But we'll be back in part 2 with the actual hopeful solution and fix and putting this back together and making the lady live once again and spin beautifully smoothly like it did when I first got it a decade ago. So there we go, guys. Wait in suspense. I will be back.